Hello and welcome back to Helppo. In this video we're going to walk you through the IELTS General Task 2 with an in-depth look at the brainstorming and writing process. Let's get started, shall we? Before even letting your pencil touch the paper, the first thing you want to do is make sure you've read and understood the topic and task well. The recommended time to complete this part of the exam is about 40 minutes. So we want to make sure we're managing our time well. You might want to take about 2 to 3 minutes just making sure that you understand the task. For this video, we're going to be working off this sample prompt. In particular, let's look at the text in bold, highlighting the important words or sentences. Modern technology is changing our world. This has advantages, such as bringing people closer together through communication. It also has disadvantages, such as destroying the differences between cultures. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this statement? Feel free to pause the video and write down this prompt for reference. It's also very helpful to write your own essay while following these tips. By highlighting modern technology, we know exactly what our essay should be about. We can start thinking about what modern technology would include. Likely we may be thinking about things like smartphones, tablets, and other devices that allow us to stay connected to one another. We also want to focus on words such as advantages and disadvantages. This gives us a little bit of insight on how we can structure our essay. We're even given an example of an advantage, bringing people closer together through communication, and a disadvantage, destroying the differences between cultures. The final sentence of the bolded prompt tells us to write about how much we agree or disagree with this statement. Looking at the non-bolded text, we see the basic instructions like including examples from our own knowledge or experience and writing at least 250 words. Now that we've taken a few minutes to understand what we need to be writing about, we want to take another 3 to 5 minutes brainstorming and making a short outline for our essay. Of course, we want to begin with our introduction and end with our conclusion. The first thing we want to do is establish our position with our thesis statement. A thesis statement is one sentence that expresses the main idea of your essay. This will give your writing a sense of cohesiveness. For example, here's a thesis statement. I agree that modern technology can bring people together, but disagree with the statement that it destroys the differences between cultures. We can spend some time jotting down how we can organize our body paragraphs. One of the best ways to figure out how to do that is by thinking in questions. After looking at what we've highlighted in the prompt, we can ask ourselves a few questions. For example, how does modern technology bring people closer? Why is it beneficial? Can modern technology actually destroy differences between cultures? If so, how? And if not, why? It may seem like we've just added more steps to our prompt, but what we've done is break down our big overarching theme into a few short questions that we can answer individually. By the time we've thought of our argument, we can write our outline like this. First, our introduction or thesis statement. Modern technology can bring people together and does not destroy the differences between cultures. Then point 1, modern technology brings people together, with supporting points like video conferencing systems, ability to talk to people across the world, and a personal anecdote. After that, a counter-argument. Modern technology doesn't destroy cultures, with counterpoints like tech does not promote Westernism, it makes cultural ties stronger, and another personal anecdote. And finally, a conclusion. So we've plotted our whole essay in a few sentences. Think of this outline as a roadmap to writing your essay. Now that we've plotted our course, let's get to writing. The key to grabbing your reader's attention is a well-written introduction, ending with a clearly defined thesis statement. The first thing you want to do is show your reader why the topic you're writing about is important. You might choose to use a personal experience or observation to show this. Technology has advanced to a point where people can communicate with each other instantaneously from across the globe. Millions like myself use smartphones, laptops, and tablets to consume information in real time. After your introductory statement, you may choose to restate your prompt in your own words. In other words, modern technology is changing our world. While some would praise these developments, Others fear that overexposure to technology threatens the differences between cultures. Now the most important part of your introduction, the thesis statement. Your thesis statement should clearly state your stance on the prompt and give a short explanation on why you think it's true. Everything you write in your body should relate to this key idea. However, I believe that while maintaining cultural identity is very important, being able to connect with others is more beneficial to society as a whole. After writing your introduction, you can now get into the meat of your essay, the body paragraphs. One mistake that some people make when writing essays is being too rigid with their stance, almost asserting that their way is the only correct way of thinking. Of course, life isn't always like that. To make a well-structured essay, it's important to acknowledge the other side's argument on your topic. Not only will this show that you're a balanced writer, but it can even strengthen the argument you make. Generally, 2 body paragraphs are enough to make your point clear and concise while still passing the 250-word minimum. So you can make your first body paragraph an argument in full favor of your stance on the topic. As you wrote in your brainstorm, it's going to be structured like this. Modern technology brings people together. Video conferencing systems, ability to talk to people across the world, personal experience. Each bullet point can be its own sentence. So let's see how we can turn this outline into a fleshed out main body paragraph. You can start your paragraph with linking words like "from my point of view" or "in my opinion." Click on the button down below to watch Helppo's video on linking words. In my opinion, modern technology is a force that can bring people together. For example, we have video conferencing systems that can connect us to our friends and family from across the world. When we were under quarantine in my country, not only was I able to communicate with my family down the street, but even my friends who live in Japan and the UK. Without these technological advancements, I would not have been able to get in touch with my dear friends and family. In the first sentence, we made a clear statement. In the next sentence, we showed the reason why we think so by giving an example. Next, we supported that argument with a personal experience. Finally, we wrapped it up by showing the benefits or importance of our subject. You can usually get your point across in 3 to 4 sentences. For our second body paragraph, let's try dissecting a counter-argument to our point and making a light rebuttal. This is going to balance out our writing and strengthen our thesis statement. First, start with a linking word like "some say" or "some might argue that," and give your statement. Some may argue, however, that technology has been responsible for westernizing the world and destroying the cultures that make us unique. Next, you can acknowledge the validity of this point and then rebut it or strengthen your own argument. True, young people in many lands have adopted the style of dress and attitudes of the Western world, but this doesn't mean that they have completely abandoned the culture and traditions of their parents. And of course, we always have to back up our statements with proof. In fact, many internet users in Western lands have been able to enjoy the cultures and music of their Eastern counterparts through music and television shows that they found through the internet. So we've written 2 body paragraphs here, one that plainly supports our thesis statement and another one that gives a counter-argument and continues to support our statement. Finally, we're going to write our conclusion. Our conclusion is going to wrap our entire essay up. Think of it as a ribbon on a present. It may not add many new points, but it makes your writing look a whole lot better. An effective conclusion will begin with a linking word to finalize our essay, followed by a summary of our thesis statement. Make sure that you aren't just rehashing your thesis statement, try to use synonyms and change the phrasing. In conclusion, modern technology is a force for good. It bridges gaps between cultures and brings people from all around the world together. Next, you want to summarize your body paragraphs in 1 to 3 sentences. You don't want to do any more than this to avoid sounding long-winded or repetitive. While some may argue that exposure to other cultures might diminish one's own, being able to share with others via the internet can preserve and strengthen one's own cultural traditions. Finally, we want to move our reader to action with a short, motivating sentence. As technology advances, people will be able to share ideas and traditions and work toward a better future. There we have it. A quick word count clocked this essay at 326 words. Try following along with the prompt at the beginning of this video and write your own essay using the techniques we just learned. You can also try timing yourself to see if you can write something like this within 40 minutes. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Helppo on YouTube for more IELTS tips, and turn on notifications to stay up to date and not miss anything. If you need personalized help, schedule a lesson with us today at hihelppo.com. Thanks for watching.